Self-driving cars operate at the sharp end of cyber-physical safety, where even minor mistakes can instantly transform 2 tons of steel into a deadly hazard. The autonomous vehicle industry has experienced catastrophic incidents resulting in fatal and life-changing injuries, like Uber in 2018 and Cruise in 2023. Yet, analysts project a $500 billion mobility market by 2030 for companies that achieve safe and scalable automation. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Analytics Insight podcast, where we talk about the ever evolving tech space. And I'm your host, Priya Dayalani. Now, the question here is not about autonomous, scalable automation, but the essential question facing leaders is where exactly do we place human oversight in automated systems, and how do we ensure those human machine interfaces remain reliable, clear, and effective as complexity grows? Let's welcome Amit Balwani, Senior Vice President Technology at AuthBridge, to discuss human in the loop AI, where balancing automation is important with accuracy, explainability, and compliance assurance. Hi, Amit, how are you doing?
Thanks, Priya. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good too, thank you. And likewise, it's a pleasure to have you on our podcast today. And of course, when we talk about human in the loop, we have had a lot of debates and discussions around this topic. But of course, we would like to have some real world insights from your end. So let's get started. But firstly, we would like to know more about AuthBridge. We'd be really happy to understand about the company, its specialization, and alongside that, we would also like to know more about you, Amit. How has your journey been till date, and what's your role at the company today?
Sure. So, AuthBridge has been a category leader and a pioneer in background verification, and it has been a reputed organization since the past 20 plus years. So, AuthBridge operates at the intersection of trust, identity, and intelligence. So, you can think of us as the digital customs authority for enterprises, ensuring that every person, document, and entity crossing their ecosystem is verified, compliant, and trustworthy. So we specialize in end-to-end identity verification, spanning KYC, KYB, employee background screening, fraud detection, and continuous monitoring. But what truly differentiates us is the breadth and depth of our capabilities. So from document forgery detection, OCR, entity extraction to crime checks, global watchlist checks, educational and employment verifications, address intelligence, skip tracing, and address scoring. We cover the full trust and intelligence lifecycle. As SVP of Technology, my role is to translate this trust mandate into scalable AI first platforms, balancing innovation with reliability. In simple terms, I ensure that while we move fast, we don't break trust.
That's a fantastic overview, Amit, and we are really glad to understand about the company, its specialization, and how it's actively shaping its direction through innovation and a clear strategic focus. And we are really glad to understand that the niche clarity is what truly sets companies apart. Great. Moving.
So, sorry to interject.
Sure.
Uh, just wanted to add that we have recently launched state-of-the-art platforms. One is for agentic voice AI. So it enables intelligent conversational verification, and there are lots of use cases across industries. And we have got a lot of traction from many of our existing and new clients. We also offer a robust consent management platform, ensuring compliance meets user trust in a privacy-first world. India is going to launch and start complying with DPDP since from the next year, May 2027.
Right.
So we're already providing this platform for our clients to comply with DPDP before it even comes into effect.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Amit. We are really glad to understand about this core specialization that you just mentioned. Great. I think as AI continues to evolve, it's increasingly woven into our daily lives, whether it's customer support chatbots or writing assistants and, autonomous agents. So these systems are very capable, fast, and scalable, but also can be imperfect. What's
Right.
becoming clear is this: the goal of AI isn't to replace humans, is to work with them. While automation unlocks enormous efficiency, it can't always handle nuance, context, or ethical complexity on its own. This is especially true in high stakes domain like healthcare, finance, or even creative work. And that's where I think human in the loop systems come in. So As enterprises are accelerating their AI adoption, why is human in the loop becoming a critical design principle rather than just a safety mechanism?
Right. So AI without humans as it stands today is like a high-speed train without signals. So it is fast, but one wrong turn can be catastrophic for the enterprise. So we are seeing a shift where human in the loop is no longer just a brake pedal, but it's part of the steering system itself. This, according to studies by different organizations like Stanford and McKinsey, even the most advanced AI systems today still exhibit non-trivial error rates in edge cases, especially in high-stakes domains like finance, hiring, or compliance. Especially in our domain, trust and identity, a false positive or a false negative is not just an error. It is either fraud slipping through or a genuine customer being blocked. So human in the loop ensures contextual judgment where data alone falls short. So the narrative has changed. It's not AI versus human, it's AI with human by design.
Definitely, Amit, and I think it reframes how we think about AI adoption at scale. And like you said, I think the human in the loop is no longer just about oversight or error correction. It's becoming foundational to how intelligent systems are designed, deployed, and even trusted for that matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think as AI systems become more capable, they're also becoming more complex. Chaining together tools or managing multi-turn reasoning, retrieving from memory, and making high-level decisions across domains. But with this growing sophistication comes increased risk, especially when systems operate without any human oversight. For example, LLMs can generate confident but incorrect or entirely fabricated information. Without a human to fact check or validate, these hallucinations can quickly erode trust or cause real harm in sensitive domains. So, how do you define the right balance between automation speed and human oversight in enterprise AI systems?
Right. So it's a classic horses for courses problem. The right balance comes from risk tiering the decisions. So if it's a low risk, high volume decision, we can go for fully automated AI engines and AI workflows. If it's a medium risk, it has to be AI led, but with human validation triggers. And if it's a high risk use case, it has to be human led, although it could be AI assisted. So that's what we follow in our organization, and that has reaped us a lot of fruits with our experience. We often use a confidence score approach as well. If the model confidence is above a threshold, it flows straight through. If it falls into a gray zone, a human steps in. So think of it like an airport security. So most passengers breeze through automated gates. A few are flagged for manual checks, and very few go through deep inspection. So speed and safety are not enemies. You just need the right checkpoints.
That's a very nuanced take, and I think you have touched on something that a lot of enterprises are still struggling to get right. And I think when we talk about this balance, this is not a technical decision, but it's more like a strategic one. It's about knowing where speed creates value and where human judgment is non-negotiable. Because in many ways, over automation can be just as risky as under automation as well. Great. Let's take a
Correct.
step further and understand more about the decisions that we usually take. Now, decision making is also evolving rapidly because, the business landscape is also becoming pretty much complex. And again, companies and organizations are turning to AI and automation to enhance the speed, accuracy, and efficiency. But while automation has transformed many aspects of business operations, it raises a crucial question. Where does automation stop and where must human judgment remain? Because I think not all decisions can be reduced to an algorithm. The critical question is not simply about what can be automated, but rather why automation is being pursued. Are we using AI to enhance decision making or just to accelerate processes? So, how can organizations determine which decisions should remain human controlled versus AI driven?
So a good rule of thumb that we have followed with great success is the higher the impact and irreversibility, the stronger the case for human control. So we typically evaluate decisions across three axes. The first one is risk impact, whether it's financial, reputational, or legal. The second one is explainability requirement. And the third one is error tolerance. So, for example, if it's a password reset use case, it could purely be AI driven. If it's a loan approval or fraud flags, it could be hybrid because the stakes are high. And if it's an employment termination decision, it should be human controlled. So, if a decision can materially affect someone's life or livelihood, humans should have the final say. So, that's my take on it.
Pretty sorted approach, I must say. And I think the balance between human judgment and AI autonomy should be like how you said. And, like we have always discussed that technology here is not to replace human decision making, but rather about redefining where human intuition or ethics and contextual understanding add the most value. And of course, with the speed that AI is evolving, a lot of questions are being asked around accountability. And I think with what you said, I'm sure our listeners would be able to handle this tackle head on. Right. So you mentioned about explainability as well, Amit. Now, stakeholders are no longer satisfied with AI systems that can deliver speed and accuracy. There is now clear expectation for openness, responsibility, and visibility into the reasoning behind automated decisions. Now, all of this has brought to explainable artificial intelligence into sharp focus. The increasing complexity of modern AI models has made their internal logic difficult to interpret, creating challenges around trust, fairness, and regulatory compliance. And in response, global governance bodies have formalized transparency as a standard requirement. So, explainability is becoming a regulatory and a very important regulatory and a business requirement as well. So, how does the human in the loop approach improve transparency in AI decisions?
So, what we believe is that explainability is not just about why the model decided, it's also about who validated the decision and how. So, human in the loop creates an audit trail of reasoning. So, first point that we consider is AI provides probabilistic output in its current stage. Then, the second point, humans add contextual judgment. And then, the third step that we follow is that systems log both of these actions. Now, this layered decision making improves traceability. So, regulators don't just want a black box answer, they want a narrative. In fact, frameworks like GDPR and emerging AI regulations emphasize the right to explanation. Human in the loop helps translate algorithmic outputs into human understandable reasoning. So it's a difference between saying the system flagged you and here's why this decision was made and here's who reviewed it. So that is much more credible. So that's what we follow.
Great, and I think that's what responsible AI should look like going forward because human in the loop systems don't just act as a safety net but as an active layer of accountability. And in many ways, it's about moving from black box automation to more collaborative intelligence where humans and machines work in tandem rather in isolation.
Absolutely.
Great. Now, when we talk about human in the loop, these programs do not just protect deployment decisions. They generate the highest quality supervision signals an organization possesses. Poorly structured supervision degrades downstream model training, their evaluation reliability, and audit defensibility. So, scaling human in the loop is therefore a data curation problem before it is a staffing problem. Now, this is a principle at the heart of data centric AI. The idea that systematic improvements to training data can gain much better reliable outputs than architecture changes alone. And when the label data that trains or evaluates a model is itself noisy or inconsistent, no amount of architectural sophistication will compensate. So, how can companies prevent human in the loop from becoming a bottleneck that slows down the very efficiency AI promises?
So yeah, that's the tightrope that all the enterprises are walking currently. So what we follow is the trick is to make human in the loop surgical, not blanket. So we use active learning. So humans only review edge cases. We continuously train models on human feedback, reducing future dependency. We also build smart queues and prioritization systems, and we leverage AI-assisted human workflows, where AI summarizes, highlights the anomalies, and suggests decisions. In our experience, a well-designed human-in-the-loop system doesn't slow you down. It actually improves the throughput over time because the AI keeps getting smarter.
Right, that's really important that you mentioned, and I think, like you mentioned, it's a tension we are seeing across industries today because where human oversight is essential, but at the same time, it can unintentionally also slow down the very system it's meant to strengthen. And like you mentioned, I think it's more about a strategic layer we should treat a human in the loop like, and because every decision I think requires human validation, and we are essentially recreating the inefficiencies if AI was meant to eliminate in the first place. Great. Moving ahead, now there are certain tasks that follow structured and predictable patterns, making them ideal for automation. And like AI-driven systems are now in place to manage payroll processing, invoice handling, procurement, even regulatory compliance. And in domains like marketing, finance, and cybersecurity, AI can analyze huge data sets to optimize campaigns, detect fraud, and even predict risk. However, in even in these areas, full automation without human intervention can have unintended negative effects. Automated decision making can create power asymmetries, remove necessary human oversight, and in some cases lead to the destruction of value rather than its creation. So, a critical balance must be maintained. As AI agents become more autonomous, will the role of humans shift from operators to supervisors and orchestrators of AI systems?
Great question. So absolutely, and that shift is already underway. So humans are moving from doing mundane tasks to designing systems, from processing decisions to governing decisions. So think of it as moving from driving the car to managing the whole traffic system in the city. So in agentic AI environment, humans will be setting policies, they'll be probably defining guardrails, they'll be monitoring exceptions, continuously improving models. The skill set will shift from execution to orchestration. So that's what we believe in.
Great. And just a follow-up question with what you said when we are saying, when you're talking about, skill set will shift towards more orchestration. What are certain skills that as humans working in the organizations need to have in terms of becoming the orchestrators of AI systems? Or, what is your idea on the upskilling and reskilling of skills?
So yeah, humans will definitely have to know the domain. So they'll have to know the data, and they'll also have to learn newer roles like data quality engineers, agent flow monitors, agent flow designers. So a lot of these new tools, new roles, and new skills are being acquired as we speak. There are a lot of organizations that are making these skills available for others to learn. So that's what I believe that is the future.
Right, makes sense. And I think human in the loop is evolving beyond isolated approvals or safety nets. As AI systems mature, human input is becoming a core design principle which should be embedded deeply into the control, learning, and communication layers of agents. And I think the next wave of human in the loop emphasizes more adaptive collaboration and not just a static oversight. So, if we look 5 years ahead, Amit, what will best in class human in the loop AI system will look like in practice?
So what I believe is that they'll be almost invisible but deeply embedded. So you'll see self-learning systems where human feedback will be seamlessly integrated into model update. There'll be dynamic human in the loop where the level of human involvement adjusts in real time based on risk and context. There'll be explainability by default, not as an afterthought. There'll be cross-functional oversight, blending compliance, tech, and business teams. And most importantly, trust will become measurable. So enterprises will not just ask, or the regulators will not just ask how fast is your AI, they'll ask how trustworthy is your AI. Because in the end, AI may be the engine, but trust is the fuel. So without it, nothing will move.
Definitely, I completely agree with you. And as AI and automation are powerful tools, but they should not dictate decision making without human oversight. Leaders must establish guardrails to ensure AI aligns with business values and strategic goals. Companies should adopt a hybrid decision making model where AI handles routine tasks while human oversees complex, strategic, and ethical considerations. Additionally, organizations should develop clear policies to mitigate the potential negative effects of AI driven automation, particularly regarding trust and relationship dynamics within B2B interactions. Thank you so much, Amit, for taking out the time and effort to be on our podcast today and highlighting the fact that ultimately not everything is automable. There is no universally best decision. Choices depend on context, values, and risk tolerance. And automation should serve as an enabler, not a substitute for critical thinking and human insight. And organizations must ask themselves, are we using AI to make better decisions, or are we simply optimizing without questioning the impact? The answer will define the future of business strategy in the age of AI. Thank you so much, Amit, for your insights. It was lovely chatting with you.
Thank you for having me, Priya. It was an absolute pleasure sharing my experience. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. So, this is for our listeners. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion around human in the loop and what does it feel like to ensure human in the loop in the system. Stay tuned for upcoming podcast, and you can view all our previous episodes on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.